welcome to Thursday Night Bookish Chat in the Book Corner at Small Home Comforts. My name is Beth, and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. If you are here, I would love to say hello to you. So just say hi in the comments, and yes, we can get started and say hello to everyone. Tonight I thought we would talk about my reading plans for 2026, get into some of the details of what I have lined up for my personal reading challenge for the next year, and yeah, some things I have on the horizon. Like I said, I'd love to say hi to you. Let me know that you're here. I am tonight drinking, usually we start with our tea, right? So sorry, I'm getting some of the things going here, but we'll start with our tea this evening. I have tonight a Christmas tea. This is Taylor's of Harrogate spiced Christmas tea. Isn't that so pretty? One of you sent that to me. So I'm going to try. This is a new to me brand. I just discovered it probably, I don't know, in the last few months, and it's only because um, because of the Bookstagram and the BookTube community, which is where I heard it from. So, spiced Christmas tea tonight. Let me know what kind of tea you're drinking. Let me know in the comments. That's still a little hot, so I'm gonna give it a minute before I take my first sip. But I'm going to come over to the comments and say hello to everyone. Hello, Ashley is here. Welcome, welcome. Kelly is here. Good evening. Good to see you. Teresa is here. Ah, awesome. Susan is here. She says hello, Beth and all. I love how we have a whole community here. Karen is here. Hello, Karen. It's good to see you. And Barbara is here. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. Martha's here. I thought maybe you guys were all going to be too busy with Christmas preparations. I know that I have been super busy myself, so I'm so glad that you're making time for us tonight. It's so nice to have you. Susan is drinking white chocolate peppermint. How lovely, perfectly seasonal. Karen is loving the tea from the box that she just received today. Oh, I'm so glad you like it. I'm so glad. The Christmas book boxes are starting to arrive. Many people have them already for the people that I was able to send them to. So I'm going to do a live unboxing per usual. I'll have more details later. About when and how we can get together to do that over the Christmas holidays. So we'll talk about that a little bit more later on. Martha says she's drinking toasted marshmallow tonight. That sounds very seasonal as well. So, oh, lovely. So glad that you are all here. So we'll settle in. Let me check this tea. I think it's cool enough. I have to stick my stick my finger in first so I don't burn my tongue. This is my first try of this one. Ooh, it's nice and light. It says black tea with spices and natural flavoring, a little touch of citrus, which I love, warming spices. Perfect. We're having festive tea. Tonight in the book corner. So, all right. I thought that I would share with you all tonight what my reading plans are for the next year. So, I don't have a whole lot to hold up because mostly I don't have the books yet. But I thought I would make the announcement tonight as we were chatting who I'm going to read. So, a little backstory. If you are new here, which I know most of you, most of you aren't, but just kind of a little backstory. I like to set a personal reading challenge for myself. Um, of kind of walking with one author throughout the whole year. I think of it as kind of like a string through my reading life through the year. So I do consider myself like a mood reader, but also I have a TBR as well. So I usually call them my hopefuls. So I usually put together every month a stack of hopeful books that I am hoping to get to, and then. Yeah, and usually I have just this one reading string goes through the year and it kind of makes the whole thing feel cohesive. So I got this idea in 2023 from somebody else who was doing a Jane Austen um, read through the year. So we read all of Jane Austen's books together that year, and I thought, you know what, I really like this idea of sticking with one author and doing all the different kinds of works they put out. So then in 2024, I chose Maud Hart Lovelace, all her Deep Valley books. So those are the Betsy Tacy books. Which, oh, they're behind my poinsettia here, but I collected them all throughout 2024, and I read one a month. I think there was one month I read two, and I read them in publication order, and spent the year with Betsy Tacy and Tib and some of the additional books as well that yeah, that were part of that set, and that was so lovely that year. I did write a blog post on each one of the books and my thought, and I did a wrap up post about that at the end of last year. And then this year, 2025, I read through the year with Georgette Heyer, specifically her mystery novels. So she had 12 of those, and I spent the year every month reading one of her mysteries, which was so fun. I love the mystery genre. And then I did a blog post of those books. And well, I'm behind on November and December. I read them, but I am behind. I have been very overwhelmed the past several weeks, and I just haven't been able to get those up, but I will. By the end of the year, they will be up. I know I keep saying they're coming, and they are. They're in the works, but other things have taken a priority. So I have read them all. Blog post to come, and in January, I will do kind of a wrap up of all of them and rank them, which I liked the best and the least, and all of that. So I'll do a wrap up in January of those. So that was 2025. So that gives kind of a background of where I'm going, and how I've done this in the past. So this year, I gave you guys some hints last week about who I was going to spend the year with in 2026, and that author is Noel Streatfeild, whose work I have never read. If you can believe that, I almost can't believe that. I was like, I have got to start reading Noel Streatfeild. I've been wanting to for years, and she just somehow kept getting pushed to the side for me. And I said, 2026 is the year I'm going to do it. So I've been thinking about it for months. I've been thinking, who do I want to spend the year with? What am I going to do? Um, I've been working on my book list because the thing with the previous years, like for Jane Austen, the Jane Austen year, we read all of her full length novels. Like it felt like a whole oh, the word is escaping me right now, but basically like all her whole bibliography I read through. And then same thing with Maud Hart Lovelace. It wasn't her whole thing, but it was a series. It was a set. And I felt like it was kind of very immersive. With Georgette Heyer, it was all the same genre. So I didn't like review all of her romances, although I did read some, but I specifically kept it to her mysteries. But with Noel Streatfeild, I want to kind of get a overview of several of her genres. So it's a little bit different this year in that it's not going to be the same genre all the way through. I didn't want to just stick to her like children's literature because I wanted to get a broader picture of some of the things that she was doing. So with that in mind, I did like internet searches. I did to see what books, if I'm going to read Noel Streatfeild, which ones are the ones that I shouldn't miss for sure, and which ones from the different genres. So she wrote a lot of genres. She wrote children's literature. She wrote nonfiction. She wrote adult literature. She even had a murder mystery in there, which I'm going to have to read through the year, through this upcoming year too, because I wanted to do kind of a little bit of bit different this year with the mixing up of the genres. So I am really excited about it. I'm going to show you the book list that I put together as I kind of like started to pull different titles out. But first, I am going to come over to the comments because I see you guys kind of talking over here a little bit and sharing what you're drinking. So I'll just share that really quickly. Barbara said it has been a week at work and you're going with more of a kick coffee and Irish cream. That sounds fantastic. Oh my goodness. Nice and warm and oh, so tasty. So good. Marilyn is here. Hi, Marilyn. Welcome. Green tea with Monster Rehab mixed in, which is tea and lemonade. That sounds very good too. I like tea and lemonade mixed together as well. Susan says she hasn't read Noel Stretfield either. So, this is going to be fun. Susan, if you want to read along with me. So I do this as a very low key read along. We don't have discussions. We don't, nothing like that. Just, I set the reading list and I write a blog post every month or usually usually I do. And then we can just discuss it, like just in comments and things like that. So you are welcome to read along with me. In fact, I would love it if you guys would like to. So Ashley says that she has a couple of her books on her mother-daughter buddy read list for next year. So lovely. I love it. I am really looking forward to discovering her work for the first time. They are of course in my mind because you hear people talking about them often. In fact, I did have last year I did an author interview with Anna Rose Johnson, and she loves Noel Stretfield. And I admitted to her last year that I had never read her. And so Anna Rose gave me some recommendations during that interview, which you can see, it's on my YouTube channel. You can see the replay of it. But I started there because Anna Rose knows what she's talking about when it comes to vintage children's literature. So I started with the ones that she recommended to me during that interview. So those were the ones for sure that I plan to read. And then Anna Rose also did a blog post about some kind of like more forgotten ones that you should definitely try to get your hands on. So I incorporated some of those as well. Dean Street Press publishes Noel Stretfield's work she wrote under the pseudonym Susan Scarlett, something Scarlett. I think it was Susan Scarlett. And she wrote some adult literature, I think romances, for that, and then there's just some other ones that she wrote as well. So I'm even though it says Susan Scarlett, I think that's what it was, Susan Scarlett. It's still I'm considering that Noel Stretfield because it was the same person, and so I do have I think at least one of them on my list as well for this upcoming year. So Marilyn says that oh, wait, I did the wrong one there. Karen is saying that she'll be reading along. She loves the ones from You've Got Mail. So I thought of that too. I was thinking about Kathleen Kelly and how Kathleen Kelly sits there and she goes, the shoes book, ballet shoes and skating shoes, and that her favorite was ballet shoes. And so I was like, I have to, of course, take Kathleen Kelly's recommendation into consideration as well. So I did put that one on there as well. So Marilyn says that she's never heard of this author and she's loving learning about new ones. Martha, yes, I believe she is a UK author. Yes, I believe that they are UK settings. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm going to share with you, I'm going to have to share my screen here and see if, okay, bear with me here as let's see. I need to bring up okay, I think this is it. We're going to, let's see if I can do this here. Bear with me. So, as I do this. Okay, I'm going to do it like this, I think. Nope, wrong one. Hold, please, hold, please. There we go. All right, that should be easier to see as well. So there's just a little graphic I made to make it easier to kind of see when I'm going to do what. So I'm starting in January with skating shoes. Now, here's my thought process behind that. In my mind, because ballet shoes is what Kathleen Kelly recommends, and because it seems to be the most popular. And when you do a Google search, what should I not miss when I'm reading Stretfield? everything comes up ballet shoes. This one is the most popular. However, I'm going to start with skating shoes simply because of winter. I thought January skating, it just sounded just right. And I don't know much about the plots in these books. I've read just little some words about it, but I don't want to like spoil anything. So I didn't read completely into the plots. And so I don't know if it's set in winter specifically or anything like that, but skating shoes sounded just perfect for January. And so that's where I'm going to start, even though so many people say ballet shoes. So I'm saving ballet shoes until February. It seemed appropriate for February anyway. Kind of pink, kind of romantic. Seemed like it would make sense. So I'm putting ballet shoes in February. Now in March, there is one called Painted Garden. And like I said, Anna Rose Johnson wrote a blog post about some not to miss. And in that blog post, she said that Noel Streatfeild was inspired by The Secret Garden when writing The Painted Garden. And I thought Secret Garden is always so good in March. And so I'm going to do Painted Garden in March to kind of, have that same kind of vibe. The only thing I don't know about this one is how, so there's some in here that I think are a little bit harder to get, and I think Painted Garden is one of those. So I did try to do a search to see how accessible these are. I don't see them, they don't have like a set, like with Betsy Tacy, I did a set. With Georgette Heyer, I was able to do a set. Some of these I may have to read ebooks or try to find them on thrift books because it looks like some of these are not either they're not currently in print or they're harder to find. So Painted Garden is one of them. I'm hoping to be able to find a copy and that they'll be easily, more easily accessible. If not, then I may have to change my title, but if I can manage it, Painted Garden is going to be the title for March. And then in April, I'm going to do theater shoes. So of all the shoes ones, the top ones that were recommended were skating shoes, ballet shoes, and theater shoes. And so I put theater shoes in April. Um, you know, just wanted to kind of keep them together with some of the other ones. And in fact, I think so. Anna Rose Johnson was here last week as part of our bookish chat when I was giving hints as to what I was going to talk about this week. And I think she guessed because I think she had an inkling that this was who I was going to go with, even though I didn't tell her. But I think she may have guessed because in the mail to me arrived theater shoes. Anna Rose was like, "Hey, just in case you might need this anytime soon." And I was like, how did she guess? How did she know? She was so smart. She was able to figure it out. So I now have theater shoes for my shelves, and I will be saving that for April. So it was just so lovely of her. So Anna Rose, if you're watching, thank you. I was so thrilled to be adding that to my shelf for this year. So that was April. And then in May, I chose something called Aunt Clara. This is one of her adult novels. And one of the reasons I chose it was because apparently there was a movie adaptation of it during like the classic movie era. And so you all know how I love classic movies. So I'm hoping to be able to find that somewhere and be able to watch Aunt Clara as well as read Aunt Clara in May. So that was one of the reasons I chose Aunt Clara as one of the adult novels. So that was that. Now, Noel Streatfeild apparently has a lot of books set in the summertime. I found a newly published book called, well, I think it was called Holiday Stories. And it was a collection, and in the UK, they say on holiday, which is like their vacation. And I got the impression just from the cover that they are kind of short stories in the summer. I didn't add it to my list, but it was very beautiful, and so I may have to seek it out. But apparently, she wrote a lot about the summer. So the three that I chose for the summer, June, July, and August, are The Growing Summer, House in Cornwall, and Summer Pudding. So The Growing Summer is children's literature. And of course, it has summer in the title. And I thought, We've got to have it in the summertime. So this was one of the ones that Anna Rose suggested during our chat. I did hear from another YouTuber on one of her reviews of this that she had a different opinion of this. So I am looking forward to reading this one and forming my own opinion, seeing what it's all about. I've heard about it. From a couple different people. So I'm looking forward to that one. House in Cornwall. Well, of course, anything with a house in the title, I'm so wanting to do. House in Cornwall is published by, is it Manderley Press? I want to say. I think it's Manderley Press. I should have written it in my notes and I didn't. But there is a small UK publishing company where they publish these beautiful books, and they usually do it one at a time. And there's always a strong sense of place in the titles that they choose, which of course I love. I love a strong sense of place. I really usually notice a setting when I'm reading about it. So the House in Cornwall book is one of those, and it is a gorgeous book. So I am really looking forward to that one as well. Set also in the summertime is from what I was reading. So and then Summer Pudding, of course, because it had summer in the title, I wanted to have it in August. This one is one of her romance books, I think. And I think this was the one, let me look really quickly. Yes, I believe this was the one that she published under this the Scarlet pseudonym. And so this one is a romance, I believe, for adults. So that one is the one that I chose for August. And then in September, Caldecott Place, another recommendation from Anna Rose, and of course, place. It sounds like a house. It sounds like a setting. So looking forward to that one as well. That one I believe is also a children's literature. And then in October, I chose the one murder mystery that she wrote called Murder While You Work. Um, and so I thought October would be a good time to read that one. So I added that one in. And then November is The Bell Family. I've heard so many people talk about this one. This one is supposed to be really good. So family story sounds good for the end of the year. And that one I think is a children's literature as well. And then December is her Christmas stories, which is a short story collection. Again, similar to the holiday story one, looks like it has a beautiful cover as well. So I am really looking forward to that one. So I'll be using this hashtag Year with Stritfield to kind of group it all together on social media so that, that way there can be a string through the whole year so that we can always refer back to that one. Um, when we were talking about it. So anyway, this is the list that I put together. Like I said, it's a super low key I do it for myself as a reading challenge. I invite anybody who wants to read along with me to do so. Like I said, super low key, nothing to do except read it. And I'll be talking about it, on social media and on my blog. So that is that. I am going to publish this graphic on my Instagram. I have been a little quiet on Instagram. It has just been a lot going on here in the house, holidays coming, and just so many things here with the family and with my home. So, and with the business, of course, getting all the Christmas boxes out and other Christmas orders that are coming in for the bookshelf and what have you. So, I have been working really hard behind the scenes, but a little bit quiet on social media. But hopefully once Christmas comes and we kind of get back into the swing of things, I'll be a little bit more present than that. So Susan is saying that the list looks interesting. I am so excited about it. And Ashley, you sound like since you're going to be reading some too, we'll be able to share some thoughts on what we think of them. So I'm looking forward to it. In addition to this, I have one other thing. So usually I try to keep it simple. I'm going to stop sharing here and there we go. Usually I try to keep it really simple for myself. I don't like to overcommit to too many things throughout the year. So this is like my one thing that I commit to. But the other thing that I really wanted to do this year, and I've been thinking about it since the end of the summer. So like late August, early September. And that is I want to do a very slow read through seasonally through the first half of Little Women. And so this one here, obviously it's in two parts. So Little Women is the first part, and then there's part two, which was originally entitled Good Wives, but I'm specifically going to read through Little Women. You can see all my tabs from the last time I read through. There's just so many wonderful, wonderful scenes and quotes and all the things in Little Women. And because it starts at Christmas, I am going to start reading it right now, like next week. I'm going to start reading and read the Christmas ones. And I'm going to be doing it seasonally. So it's not going to be like, I'm reading a certain number of chapters a month. I just want to kind of sit with these characters in the um in the season that they're being written about. So there's some beautiful summer scenes where they go to the beach and have picnics and a party and that. There's some spring and fall. There's just it goes through the year. The first book kind of goes through the year. And I think I'm trying to remember, but I believe that it ends again um, right around the next Christmas. It's been a little while since I read it, but I think the first part is the part where it ends again at Christmas. So it kind of goes through the year in the first part of the book. And so I'm going to be spending the year reading seasonally Little Women. This is one of the editions I had, but I do have another edition that I wanted to share with you and show you tonight. This is my childhood copy of Little Women, and it is falling apart. It has definitely seen better days, but it is a treasure to me. It's the first time I read Little Women. I read it through this with this edition, and so I thought I would share that with you tonight. This is my look how well loved it is and was. Some of the pages are falling out in the middle, but I'll show you some of the uh, what do you call it? Illustrations. That's what I'm trying to say. Show you some of the illustrations in here. It's just so fun to see some different editions. I remember my aunt gave this to me when I was very young. I was a little girl, and it is a treasured possession. But here's some of the illustrations. And let me tell you who the illustrator is. Illustrated by Louis Jambor. And this is the Illustrated Junior Library Edition. And the original copyright date is 1947. But I got it. This says the 1989 printing, so that's approximately when I got it, late 80s, early 90s. And that is my treasured Little Women book. So that's another little reading project that I'm setting for myself because I thought it would be lovely to spend the year with the March sisters going through seasonally and enjoying some seasonally appropriate scenes. So something a little low key and lovely. Of course, we're going to be starting the year. I didn't bring it with me, but we're going to be starting the year with another one of Louisa May Alcott's books, An Old Fashioned Girl, which will be in the winter book box. I am so looking forward to reading this along with you and for sending you all the goodies because I think it's going to be a fun one. I'm really looking forward to it. So, all right. Martha is saying about the Noel Stratfield read along, reading her for the first time. So many of us will be reading for the first time. Ah, we can discover her works together. I think it's going to be fun. Susan is saying, what a beautiful edition. I know, isn't it just, oh, oh, it means so much to me. So I thought I would share it here as well. So, all right. Shall we share what we're reading now? Um, I have to admit that I'm not reading anything right now. It has simply been so crazy here in my home with the amount of things that I have to do that reading has taken a back seat. Instagram has taken a back seat. Social media has taken a back seat. The business and the family, both of those are just so important to me that I've really had to concentrate my efforts on that. So I will have to admit to not reading anything at the moment, but I want to show you what I plan to read over Christmas break, which I am super super excited about. We talked about it last week, and one of my lovely viewers and subscribers sent this to me. I am going to be settling in with The Santa Claus Murder by Mavis Dorial Hay as soon as I can get all of my checklists done and my to-dos done. I cannot wait to curl up with this. So Mavis Dorial Hay, you'll recognize as the author that we read with our fall book box. She wrote only 3 books. The Death in the Cherwell, which we read for our fall discussion with the fall book box. She wrote The Santa Claus Murder, which is perfect for this time of year. And there's another one called Murder Underground, which was a previous one, which I just downloaded to my Kindle. And so I will then have read her complete. I'm not sure how you pronounce this. I can read it. Ouevre. Did I even spell it right? Basically her complete works. So I am so looking forward to reading The Santa Claus Murder come Christmas time. This has just really been a year of reading mysteries for me, which has been so much fun because one of my favorite genres it has been. So, all right, let's come over to the comments and see what you're currently reading. I hope that your reading life is more robust than mine is at the moment for you, so that you have time to settle in. I have been just unable to get to them these days. I've just been crashing into bed. In fact, you can't see it, but I've got my PJ pants on already because I was like getting comfy tonight. This is, of course, the last get together we're going to have before Christmas. So I thought, you know what? We're going comfy tonight. Why not? All right, let's come over to the comments and see what you are currently reading. Teresa is reading Christmas from the Heart of the Home by Susan Branch. Oh, Susan Branch is one of my favorites. And The Willows at Christmas. Oh, so seasonal. I love it. Martha, she got her Christmas book box. She's reading Christmas at Fairacre by Miss Reed and loving it. I've got it up here in the back because it's just so good to look at this time of year. Of course, I've talked about it already, but I really enjoyed reading Christmas at Fairacre as well. Such lovely stories. Um, Ashley, just finished Christmas at Fairacre and loved it. Great. And you haven't started anything else yet. So just in between, right? In between. Sometimes that's where we are. I hear you. I'm so glad you liked Christmas at Fairacre, though. I really enjoyed that one as well. Susan is reading Our Mutual Friend by Dickens and Quaker Witness by Irene Allen. That sounds lovely. Dickens is so perfect for December, right? There is something called Dickens December, where they do a read along, but it's over on Instagram, and I don't know. Are they reading Our Mutual Friend? Is that what you're doing it with, Susan, this year, or are you just reading it on your own, just for fun? And you finished Don Quixote as well. Wow, that is an accomplishment. Who is right? I have never read that one. I'm not sure that I even want to. Was it good? Do you recommend it, Susan? Let us know whether we should bring it up or not for our own reading lives. Marilyn says she's hoping to finish the Santa Claus Murder, so she started it. Lovely. And also reading The Demon of Unrest by Eric Larson. I have heard of that one. I haven't read it, but I've heard he had a couple of them. There was another one, something about a city that he wrote too. His ones are very popular as well. Karen is saying, trying to get Middlemarch and Christmas Carol finished so I can start the last Hare mystery. The last Hare mystery is going to be a perfect one to read over Christmas, Karen. I think you're going to love it. I read it already because I wanted to kind of get ahead a little bit and make sure that I had everything done for the end of the year. But if I could have read it like over Christmas, that would have been perfect as well because it all takes place right at Christmas. And it's a good one. It's a good one to end the year on. I was really happy with it. Yeah, once you read it, let's talk about it, Karen, because you know I'm going to want to. Marilyn is saying she just finished Georgette Hare books, These Old Shades, and the character was a bit shady. So I have a confession about this one. I did not like These Old Shades. In fact, I disliked it so much that I DNF'd it and I never finished it. Well, that's what DNF means, right? I never finished it because I couldn't stand the way that he treated her. Um, Georgette Heyer is sometimes known, they talk about how she has like two different male lead characters. Some of her male lead characters are very much more chivalrous and gentlemanly and treat the lady with respect. And they're just all around, so much like nicer and more appealing. And then she has this other kind of like male lead, and they call him the rake kind. And basically, like that's okay if they like if he's gonna like change and reform maybe, and this is my opinion, okay, not everybody feels this way, I'm just sharing my opinion here. If he starts out that way and ends a little bit different, I can maybe see it, but there are some of them that do not end up that way. And These Old Shades was one of the ones where, well, I don't know how he ended up because I just couldn't stand him so much that I was like, I'm done with that. That's out. I have a beautiful copy of it. It's very pretty on the outside, but I refuse to read it. So the thing with These Old Shades, um, let's see, what is Marilyn saying here? She's saying using a child for revenge, not great. Agreed. I agree. So the not the sequel, but there's one after These Old Shades that is called Devil's Cub, and that one was quite a bit better. So Devil's Cub, I think, was the son of whoever character was in These Old Shades, and that one was a lot better. He was also a little bit like his father in the way he treated her, but he ended up coming around in the end. That one was much better. Devil's Cub. Here. I have it here. This one was much better. He's a little bit of a rake at the beginning, and this one comes after These Old Shades. But yeah, I agree with you on These Old Shades. It was not great. Like I said, I didn't even finish it. So, eeks. Stick with the Georgette Hayers that have lovely romantic lead characters rather than these. Well, we'll just leave it there, shall we? Susan is reporting back on Don Quixote. I want to hear, let's see what she says here. She's reading it on her own, so she's not reading Bleak Midwinter. What was the other one that she was reading? The Dickens one. Um, our mutual friend. That's what I'm trying to say. You do recommend Don Quixote, but take it slow. Read 12 pages every day, so it took her many months. Okay, so there is a vote for Don Quixote. Susan says it's good. So maybe we'll have to add that to our classics read through. So thank you for sharing that, Susan. I always like to know because you hear about, Don Quixote or like um oh my gosh, what's the one about the whale? Moby Dick. And you think, everybody talks about it, but should I really read it? Do I want to spend time reading it? So I'm glad to know that you give it the thumbs up. So lovely. All right. Well, I think that is it for this evening. As we know, the next two Thursdays, obviously next week is Christmas and then New Year's after that. So we're not going to be here for the next couple weeks while we're celebrating. I'm sure you have celebrations. I have celebrations. So we'll kind of hold off until the new year for our Thursday night bookish chats. I am going to do a Christmas book box unboxing the Saturday morning after Christmas. So I think that's the 27th. So Christmas is on a Thursday, obviously. So I thought Saturday morning we might be all getting ready to settle in with our Christmas gifts. And I thought, what better time than that to do a Christmas book box unboxing so that I can show you what I included in that book box and why I chose it and give it a little behind the scenes. I like to kind of open this both for the people who have received them as well as for the people who haven't, so that you can kind of get an idea of what was in there. Or if you did receive it, you can hear some of my backstory as to who I worked with and why I chose what I did. It's kind of fun to share the bigger picture of how the box came together. So that Saturday morning, the 27th, I will do that. So I'll see you a little bit over Christmas break. But then again, we'll do this again in the new year, not New Year's Day, but the following week, we'll be back with Thursday Night Bookish Chats. So, oh my goodness, Marilyn is saying she read Moby Dick twice this year. Marilyn, that's amazing. So you must give it the thumbs up because if you read it twice, it must have been worth it. See, that's so good to know. I love it. Amazing. Thank you for sharing. Oh, I love hearing. I love having you guys here. It's so much fun to be able to come together, talk about what we're reading, get some good book recommendations, and yeah, just spend some time together having tea and talking books, which we all love to do. So, all right, everyone, a very Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for being here tonight. I hope you have wonderful, warm holidays and lots of cozy reading time. And I'll be seeing you again very soon. Have a good night. Good night, all.